A few weeks ago, Disney lost a legend and another tied to the rich history that made the Walt Disney Company the greatest entertainment company on the planet. Much of what we appreciate about Disney parks are owed to the work of Dick Nunis. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. I'm Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, where we talk about streaming, theme parks, entertainment, and video games. Today, we're talking about Disney legend Dick Nunis, who passed away on December 13th, 2023. When we talk about people who are Disney legends, we're not talking about people who have been given a placard or a trophy. Nunis is a legendary man and one of the last people tied to Walt Disney himself. Let's get into it. Former Disneyland boss Dick Nunis has passed away at the age of 91. This man had an amazing career. This out of the Orange County Register. Brady McDonald did the article. Dick Nunis learned directly from Walt Disney how to run Disneyland and went on to play a key role in the development of the Anaheim theme park, also Disney World, Tokyo Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris. The Disney legend and former Disneyland executive vice president died on Wednesday, December 13th in Orlando, Florida, at the age of 91. That's as we would say, that's a ripe old age. Just look at this guy. He just looks like classic Disney to me. Vash,
Totally.
where would we know this man from specifically? I know that you have the probably the most knowledge here.
Okay. I think you would know him specifically from honestly his work in operations and creating the kind of efficient and kind of the priority on show. This is really helped in large part established by Dick Nunis himself. He was the guy that was, told Walt, "Hey, look, listen, I know you want to do this pirate wax museum walkthrough, but it's not really going to work here." People, first of all, they don't quite like walkthroughs, and second of all, capacity is an issue there. And he was the one instrumental in getting that changed to a boat ride using the small world technology that they had innovated with 1964-65 World's Fair. He was the guy that got Splash Mountain created for Disneyland initially by using the it was Tony Baxter's idea to use the audio animatronics from America Sings, but Dick Nunis had seen the success that Knott's Berry Farm had with its log ride and wanted something like that for Disneyland. He was the guy that advocated for the first thrill attraction for Disneyland in the form of the Matterhorn, which would go on to be the only thrill attraction at Disneyland for probably close to 20 years until the implementation of Space Mountain in 1977. It's I can tell you so many stories of Dick Nunis and how much he really did transform and mold the tenets of the Disney theme park experience into what we all are fond of and go to these parks every year to see.
The article states that he started Disneyland opened. That's amazing. And one of these people that would have actually known Walt. And I'm struggling to think of anyone there that has that. There's a joke in I think one of the third Ocean's 11 movies where they say, I thought there was this pact between guys who had shaken Frank Sinatra's hand. I think the Disney company is losing that direct connection to Walt the man, as opposed to Uncle Walt, the brand that they now own. Culture.
Yeah.
You have a lot of experience in the California park. Do you have any Nunis stories, and do you have any comment here on how much it's transformed over the years?
I think it can't be overstated just how much he influenced the look and feel of the parks and their operations for so long. Vash was 100% right with that, and he literally he not only was he responsible for all of that, he was responsible for, I don't know, just the way you were supposed to conduct yourself. I don't have any personal stories with Dick, but I can tell you that he really showed through, and he showed through not only in California but also in Florida. His influence was far and wide, and you could suggest that the reason that there is such a familiar feeling for all of the parks is is because of him. Whether it be in the United States or in Europe or even in Japan, and especially in Japan nowadays. This is the guy that made those parks look and feel special, not because of anything he did directly, but because of his decisions and his leadership.
It looks like he was the man in charge by 1971 when Magic Kingdom opened in Florida. Nunis was named executive vice president of Disneyland and Disney World in the 1980s. He oversaw Epcot, and we'll be talking about Epcot more in just a moment, and what would become Disney's Hollywood Studios. That's a fascinating statement right there. What would become Disney's Hollywood Studios?
Oh, yes. He was also instrumental in getting Animal Kingdom built out, as Joe Rohde has eloquently put on his own Instagram right there. But the Florida project's kind of funny because he advocated for a wave machine as part of the Seven Seas Lagoon. And if you know the Seven Seas Lagoon area, especially in the Polynesian, they had trucked in white sand, especially for the shoreline there in order to create that amazing theme right there. Well, as soon as they turned on that wave machine that Dick Nunis fought so hard to get, well, it dragged that white sand right into the lagoon to be lost forever. So that didn't quite work out.
It was amazing, and again, the beaches there were publicly accessible because they controlled the canals and the wildlife and everything so much better back then under his guidance and a few others that followed. But yeah, and the wave machine was fantastic. Vash, were you old enough to have experienced the waves coming in at the Poly?
No,
it was cool, dude. It was cool. It operated just like a one of the water parks where they use this big baffle puff machine that would just push the waves out. It was really cool. They weren't really waves or ripples, but it was a lot of fun.
And eventually, they would get that wave machine at the water park at Typhoon Lagoon. But
That's right.
There was concept art of the early Florida project featuring, people skiing and doing all kind of water activities with the waves and so forth, surfing and all that. It's kind of funny. But one of my favorite Dick Nunis stories was Dick and Walt would often, and in the mornings at Disneyland in the early days, they would often sit at the river's edge having their lunch. I believe it's the Riverboat Terrace, if I'm not mistaken, right there. And they would kind of look out over the water. They would look out over the rivers of America, and they would see all this river traffic. They would see the Tom Sawyer Island rafts going back and forth. They would see the canoes doing their circuit right there. They would see the Mark Twain as it went by, and the keel boats that were part of the river back in that day. And Dick is looking out there, and Walt's looking out there and says, "Dick, you know what? We need to do something about this. We need something." And Dick is like, he's thinking that they're going to take away the keel boats or take away some of the river traffic. And Walt says, "We need another big boat." And that's where the Columbia gets added to it. And Walt just had that idea of, hey, give him all that you can give him kind of thing. And ensure that the show is always preserved, expanding, growing, and changing. And really, Dick was instrumental in maintaining those values for so long as part of the Walt Disney Company, even with their later projects long after Walt. So it's a big loss.
Now, in closing up this segment here, I want to talk about Josh D'Amaro. Did the right thing very quickly. We don't ever want to say that the Walt Disney Company is incapable. Josh D'Amaro, who is the current head of Walt Disney Parks and Resorts and Consumer Products, he says, "On behalf of every cast member, crew member, Imagineer, and employee of Disney Experiences, I want to express my gratitude to Disney legend Dick Nunis and my condolences to his family following the sad news of his passing. Dick's impact on our theme parks business is everlasting. Along with our founder, Walt Disney, Dick helped shape our business, create happiness for millions of families around the world, and set a standard that an entire industry must now live up to." Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. This clip was part of our now regular Thursday live stream, which starts at noon Eastern Time. Of course, if you're not in that time zone, just hit the notification bell if you'd like YouTube to tell you when that is. Like this video if you like this video. If you know someone who is as interested as we are in this kind of stuff, then maybe you should share the link with them. And of course, please consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.